It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look in the 5 and 10, glistening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a
Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I fucking love Christmas.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Krampus, which came out in 2015, directed by Michael Dougherty. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis for Krampus?
Well, the story follows Max Engel and his family. Max is wanting Christmas to go back to the way it was when it was all happy and everybody loved each other and they were sharing all the stories in Christmas time. But now Max's family hate each other and he's asked Santa to grant his wish of bringing his family back together. But his family upset Max and instead he wishes to Krampus, who's coming to collect on all the naughty children.
Sitting down to watch this film, I sort of heard some positive hype about it.
Yeah.
And, I'd also heard really great things about Trick or Treat, which was a Halloween anthology movie, which he had done a few years prior to this one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this will be the first film experience I have with this director. Only until I realised that he was also the writer for Bryan Singer for X-Men, X-Men 2 and X-Men Apocalypse. He was also the writer for Superman Returns.
Wow.
And now he's also been signed up after the success of Krampus to be the writer-director for Godzilla King of Monsters.
Nice.
So, and now after having seen Krampus, I now wish to go and see Trick or Treat, and I'm looking forward to his new Godzilla work, just on seeing this film alone. And I have to say that I kind of went into this mainly spoiler-free, so that the film, when it was happening to me, left me going, I can't believe that happened. I wonder what will happen next. Wow.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say now, if you have not seen this film, I don't want to spoil it for you. Take my word on it. If you liked films like The Mist or Gremlins or A Christmas Carol, check this film out. Absolutely, you won't regret it.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got to be careful with this film because we go into some spoiler territory.
Oh, we will do.
Very easy. So I'm with Gary. If you haven't seen it yet, go out, watch it now, come back, and then carry on watching this review because this film came out 2015.
Yeah.
And I think at the same time, we had just done Rare Exports for our Christmas special. I saw Krampus trailer and I was just like, I'm going to wiki that. Like I do with all my films. And I read it and I thought, you know what, that's really good. But it never cropped up again. Nobody else was watching it. It wasn't on DVD. And I thought, I'll get to it at some point. And then when we decided to do it for this year, I was just like, yes, I'm up for this. I'm getting in the Christmas spirit already. And just that opening sequence, the massive shoppers going straight in for Black Friday specials, fighting over TVs and tops,
people getting tasered. I was just like, this is why I don't go into the high street towns anymore. It took a while for Black Friday to sort of take off over here in the UK, but now that it has, it's like shopping fever.
Yeah.
It gets to that day, and all weekend long people are looking for Cyber Monday. It's just like,
it's quite sad.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's just silly stuff.
No. That's the whole point of this film. I fucking love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas.
I'm a bit of a cynical person around Christmas, but
you've got to enjoy the holidays and the theme for this film as well. It's funny. It's all about sacrifice at Christmas.
That intro kind of just sets you up. It just kind of reminds you of the horrors of preparing for Christmas. That doesn't look like sacrifice. That looks like pure commercial greed.
It is.
And the film just kind of reminds you that this is all the stuff that preludes to Christmas. And it's enough to make me sick.
Yes, but those people are sacrificing their time to be with their family. They're sacrificing all the hard-earned cash they've earned to spend it on a really expensive, over-the-top present that you know that person really, really shouldn't have or deserve, but it's fucking Christmas. And then we cut to the old lady in the kitchen. I think, is that Nomi? The Max's grandmother. Once again, full on Christmas spirit. She's there making cookies. You know, she is just, she looks like she's fully into the Christmas spirit too. But then you see that look on her face when she hears the family pull up.
Tells you everything.
So we've got Adam Scott playing the father, Tom. I only really remember him from Step Brothers. He played Derek, and he was funny in that.
I've seen him in a few things. I think he was in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah.
I've seen his face pop up in a few other things, but nothing placeable. Nothing where he was like the main character, like he is in this one.
Yeah. We've got Toni Collette playing Sarah, Tom's wife. Amazing actress.
Yeah.
You know, Little Miss Sunshine, About a Boy. Seeing her in this, I was very surprised because I thought she was going to be straight dramatic actress.
Yeah.
Seeing her in this film and the kind of black comedy that comes along with Krampus was very surprising. We've got Emjay Anthony playing Max, their son, and his sister Steffiana Lavi Owen playing Beth. Nice little family element. You know, as soon as they came in,
Yeah.
I was feeling National Lampoons.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But even though that this is the family you're being introduced to, you see that on the surface everything seems okay, but the cracks are already there.
There were deep.
The mother
cracks.
is already upset that he has to take work calls. But
Yeah.
he's like, look, I promised you no travelling, but I didn't promise I wouldn't work. And already you're just starting to see the frictions there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's those small cracks that kind of escalate throughout the film.
Yeah, well, it's like hearing Max. I mean, he sat there and he's saying to everybody about like a Christmas tradition they must have where they watch Charlie Brown and wrap presents.
Yeah.
But the sister's wanting to talk to her boyfriend. You know, dad's dealing with work. Mum's
Prepping the food.
yeah, prepping the food and getting the house all looking nice, because then you have the auntie and uncle turn up, and you have Alison Tolman playing Aunt Linda and David Koechner playing Howard. And David Koechner, champ. From Anchorman, you know, he was the badass from Cheap Thrills. And as soon as he turned up, I immediately thought Randy Quaid from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm set now. I know this dark, malevolent spirit's going to turn up and kind of fuck up the whole Christmas, but I'm really looking forward to it.
So the small boy Max, you know, he's kind of been teased that Santa Claus isn't real.
Yeah.
And so the grandmother kind of convinces him that maybe he should write his letter to Santa Claus anyway. And so he does. But it's at the dinner table when the two girls sort of bullying Max.
Wait, are they girls?
Well, yeah.
I had to keep reminding myself they were.
Well, he kind of writes in his letter that Max believes that the two girls wished they were boys.
No, I
Or
think it's the uncle. Yeah.
He wished the uncle wished that they were all boys.
Yeah.
He kind of treats them like boys. So, yeah. And so anyway, so they get hold of the letter for Santa Claus and they read it out to the whole family, kind of mocking him and ripping him for writing this letter, until they get to like really sensitive bits or bits that reflect on certain family members. And there's a sort of a hint of realization that this letter is really genuine and really heartfelt. But they continue to rip him anyway until Max runs away with this Christmas letter, starts crying, gets really emotional about it. You know, he's kind of turned on his family. He's realized how monstrous they've become. And he tears up his letter and he throws it out the window. And a strange breeze takes those crumpled letter notes up into the sky. And you know that letter went to someplace.
Yeah.
And it all starts off fairly slowly. You know, the storm kind of creeps in.
That is
the black
awesome,
cloud starts to come in over the town. And, you know, you can see this town. It looks like it's in a snow globe anyway. But then when that storm cloud rolls in, you really feel quite isolated in that one house.
Yes.
Like the storm outside is believable. The snowy vistas, very Christmas themed, despite it being a horrific storm that you really wouldn't want to survive in.
And it's the little simple things as well, like the fact that all the power goes out.
Yeah.
You know, it's your worst nightmare at Christmas time when you've got family over and you've got children, that the heating's gone, the electric's gone, you know, there's no hot water, everything is just gone. But what makes it worse? Those snowmen.
I think this is because we see the advent calendar being opened on each day.
Yeah.
And I think this was, the 23rd of December?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's got a snowman behind it. And Max is one of the first ones to notice the strange, horrific looking snowman outside. And I was like, wow, that is damn creepy. And he's
Yeah.
like, who built it? And it's like, there's no one out there.
Yeah.
The snowman has just appeared.
See?
That's great, Max.
But who built it?
I can barely see across the street, but it doesn't look like it's just us.
The rest of the family start pulling at each other, kind of verbally attacking, snidey comments. You know, their character types are really two-dimensional. You know, they are tropey. The whole film is tropey in of itself, but it's the way that it plays with your expectations. So right now, being introduced to all these characters and the way that they behave, you've seen it in countless other horror movies or Christmas or holiday movies.
Yeah.
But they do it very well.
Yeah, I mean, what they do, I would say that these characters do develop over the course of the film through the strange situations that they're in. You know, I use Conchata Ferrell as a main example, and Dorothy. You know, this actress, she's always been that loud, over-the-top character. You know, you've seen her hundreds of times in 2.5 Men. But that's the thing. I liked her doing that in 2.5 Men. So seeing her in this, playing the same kind of character, I wanted to hate her. She was that hating auntie.
She was actually my favourite character in the film. I kind of sided with her most of the time. She kind of spoke her mind.
Yeah.
And just said it, you know. She
Yeah.
wouldn't bottle it down. She just said it. And I was like, I can appreciate that. But at the same time, like, she doesn't care. Yeah, she's a really selfish character.
But she's seen a lot of shit. So,
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
that's how she's dealt with it. The two sisters, you know, they were really, really working well with their past. With their history of, you know, their mum must have died at some point. And then Sarah's ended up with all the Christmas decorations, and she's the one who's got to hold the Christmas roast. And so Sarah's sister Linda has always felt a little bit out of place, but they still love each other really, really tightly. And this is what brings them over for Christmas. With Howard and Tom, yeah, cliche. You've got Tom, who's obviously, you know,
He's a Boy Scout.
He's a mama's boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a mama's boy. But it works, you know, because he's successful. He's got the big house. He's got the good job. He's made a lot of money. Where Howard, yeah, I mean, he treats his daughters like they're boys. You know, he loves his guns. He's a man's man. And you're just like, they're clashing. How are they going to come back together again?
You know, they're leaving right after Christmas, so we only have to survive another 3 days.
Beth decides that she's going to walk to her boyfriend's to see how he is. Now, these parents are really bad, Tom and Sarah, because they decide to let their daughter out into a blizzard.
Yeah, you know, when I was watching it, I was just like, if I was the dad, I'd be like, yes, okay, you can go see your boyfriend, but I'm taking you to his house and making sure you go inside.
Yeah.
And then I will come back on my own. Like, to be sure you got there, because in that blizzard, you could walk 5 feet and be lost.
You know, it's not like she's wearing a big thick coat and huge boots and snowshoes and shit. You know, this is a teenage girl walking through a blizzard.
Yeah, well, it was at this point that I was reminded that this is not, you know, an actual location. This is a studio soundstage.
Yeah, yeah.
No real snow,
Yeah.
no real cold.
No.
So,
I got that, but it was the fact that You know, like we said, the parents have let her go out in the blizzard. And then it just goes to darkness. I literally, I looked down and I looked back up from my notepad and the screen was dark. I thought it was my TV. I didn't realise that, you know, hell had just kind of fallen upon that location. And seeing Krampus standing on that rooftop.
At first, you know, you can hear it, but you're looking at the screen and then you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Those are some pretty big fucking horns.
And as she starts running and you see it leaping from rooftop to rooftop, I was just like, wow. It was at that point while I was watching the film, I got excited.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wow, this is an interesting film that has a creature that I'm not familiar with. I don't know what its motivations are. I'm guessing it's to teach this family a lesson. But it was the film it told me then I'm going to have fun enjoying this film. My expectations just kept going up. You know, and I hadn't had a feeling watching a film since The Frighteners. You know, watching a film, going into it, unknowing what you were about to see, until you just see like a Grim Reaper creature leaping from rooftop to rooftop, being like, what is this? And I want to find out.
Yeah, you start getting behind Beth, like, you know, is she going to get away? Familiar tropes, you're thinking, you know, is she going to get saved? She hides underneath the van, and Krampus lands, and you see those massive hooves walking around the van, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to grab her, but he disappears. Oh, he hasn't realised she's under there. I thought he'd be a little bit more, you know, smarter than that. But then she starts to hear the Jack in the Box. And you don't see anything. You see the Jack in the Box open and this head start to climb out. But then it cuts and she screams and the van shakes. And I was sat there like, shit, she's dead.
Right? I was like, of all the cast, like, I was surprised that she would be the first one to go.
Yeah.
But then again, I should have realised that when she said, I'm going to go outside on my own.
I kept expecting her to come back.
Yes, yeah.
I kept expecting, like, the dad or the mum or her to stumble in at the door to tell them about this horrible thing up there. Nope, that's it. She gone. She fucking gone.
It was also at this point that I realised that, you know, we didn't see what happened to her. There was no blood and no gore.
Yeah.
And throughout the rest of the film, there's very little blood or gore. And this was originally intended to be an R-rated or an 18-rated film.
Yeah.
But they couldn't sell the script to any film studio. They kept looking at it and going, Christmas horror movie? Let's have a look at how many Christmas horror movies have done well.
Not that many.
Oh, right, none.
Yeah, no. They don't.
No.
No.
I mean, just leading up to the release of this film, there's been several Krampus films.
Yeah.
We had Krampus the Christmas Devil in 2013. We had Krampus the Reckoning in 2015.
Okay.
Then we also had Krampus the Devil Returns in 2016.
So that must be a sequel to one of the previous ones.
Yeah, the Christmas Devil.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
And, you know, and then also we had The Amazing Rare Exports in 2010.
Yeah, but Rare Exports is separate as well, because there's not that much blood in that apart from the animal deaths. And I think it worked for this film as well, because now you saying that, I didn't see any blood or gore throughout this film.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really good action sequences that my mind actually didn't think there should have been blood and gore. Like that bit with Beth. Now I think about it, yeah, normally you'd have had a blood splatter underneath the van telling you what's happened. But without that there, you just immediately go back to the family. And the family are thinking, right, it's dark now, we've got to go out, we've got to try to rescue Beth.
And so, yeah, Universal Studios only agreed to finance the film if they made it a PG rated film or PG-13 rated film.
Howard and Tom decide to go on a recon and try to rescue Beth, and they go out to Howard's beautiful Humvee and drive through the snow, and it's getting bad out there. You know, the blizzard is really kicking off. Howard, though, has armed himself with his own shotgun and given Tom a handgun, and they're searching through Beth's boyfriend's house looking for her. Now, The imagery in this film is pretty fucking awesome when you have a gingerbread man nailed to a fridge with kitchen knives. Yeah. I can dig it.
Whoever did this is a demented son of a bitch.
But the two of them are lured outside by what would appear to be Beth screaming for help. And this is when the Christmas snow tremor turns up. That's the only thing I could name it.
Well, they come across the snowplow, which was turned off to the side, and they're just like, "What happened here? Maybe he crashed and went out the windshield." And he's like, "Well, no, the glass is pointed inwards.
Yes.
So something smashed through it." And so then they're attacked by a snow tremor, which is just great.
Yeah.
It just harkens back to Tremors immediately.
It worked so well with the fact that, I mean, I'm recollecting the scene, and you see Howard get pulled underneath the snow, and you're hearing something on him. And I really expected whatever to be, eating him at this point. I thought Tom was going to pull him up, and I kept expecting his legs to be severed or the bottom part of his body to be severed, any kind of blood and guts. None of that happened. Tom rescues Howard, but getting him back to the house and seeing that something bit his leg, I'm like, I'm scared now. Yeah, because I know what's out there. And the fact that your house is the only one in this entire town to still have any kind of working fireplace and warmth and people still there, you're in for a lot of trouble. But they decide to board her up. Tom has now decided that he's taking control. He's got to protect his flock, just like Howard, and they board up the front room. And it was so predictable, but so brilliantly done. The fact that they're sat there and everyone's having this beautiful fireplace moment. The sisters are recollecting, Max and the cousins are kind of keeping close with the baby. Auntie and Grandma are having their little moment. And Tom and Howard are sat talking by the window. And Tom's talking about how he's got to protect everybody till morning. Maybe they can go get help. Howard's like, yeah, I'll take first watch. You get some sleep with your family. And Howard fell asleep.
You can see it coming.
You can see it coming,
It's
but
coming.
the fact that it's on him and then the camera's off him and everything is cold, it's blue, the last few embers are burning away in the fireplace. It immediately in my head I was thinking 'twas the night before Christmas. Not a creature was stirring except a gingerbread man on a hook coming down the chimney.
What I was just looking at it, I was like, what's the big deal here? Like, I was waiting for something else. I was waiting for something to come through.
Yeah.
But then, the kid, he wakes up and he's like, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, like, after everything that's happened, a big chain comes down the chimney with a gingerbread man on it, and your first instinct is to eat it. I was like, you deserve whatever is going to happen to you. And the gingerbread man comes to life, and it wraps him up in the chain, and it pulls him into the chimney. And by the time he's in there, that's when the family wake up to see the horror of what's going on, and it just becomes a sideshow as they try and pull him down, and the gingerbread man's trying to pull him up. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so the mother gets a first-hand experience seeing the gingerbread man as it comes at her face, and the boy's taken.
He's gone.
He's gone.
I was so shocked at that because I'm like, okay, Beth is gone and not returned. He wasn't even a speaking character.
Not really.
He was kind of that annoying cousin that you kind of wanted something bad to happen to, and now it has, and he's gone.
And that's when I've like, they've killed 2 kids
Yeah.
in this film so far, and the adults are all still alive. It's like, this is different. I like this.
No, shut the door!
What came next really surprised me and I thought was absolutely fucking amazing. The fact that the director had the balls to try it, especially in a Christmas horror movie, was awesome. The grandmother has got the fire relit and now has decided that she's going to explain to everybody the back history of what is attacking them. And she starts to tell them the history of Krampus, the shadow of Santa Claus. You know, all I could think was that it must be right, because Santa Claus is such a good and nice character that his shadow, his darkness must be this evil thing. And it's all told in animation.
I couldn't tell if it was CGI or if it was honest stop motion animation.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards the fact that it was all stop motion because of all the practical effects that went into the rest of the film. They use CGI in a very limited capacity, which is great.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that this was stop motion. I watched the sequence twice to try and tell. But I was like, if it is stop motion, it's done to the point where I believe it's CGI.
Yeah.
Like, it's very good.
And she basically explains about how when she was younger, she was living in Eastern Europe. I'm guessing at the end of World War II. You know, there was poverty. Her family were poor. You know, everybody in her town had lost hope at Christmas, and she made a wish that her family would go away. And Krampus came and took them, and so she knows what this is. And what really surprised me was Toni Collette's character. She's seen the fucking gingerbread man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she's not even arguing. She's not that typical tropey, oh, I don't believe you, grandmother, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I fucking believe that.
Krampus came not to reward, but to punish. Not to give, but to take.
And Howard just decides that he's going to go.
Yeah, he's like, you can't stop me. It's my decision. I'm going out there to save my boy.
Yeah. And as soon as he opens the door and you see those things kind of running between the snowmen, you're like, what the fuck was that?
There's like 6 snowmen right outside as well. It's just like, I was convinced that the small snowman at the front was his boy.
Yeah.
And it was like, is he wearing the same scarf? Did he wear a scarf?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's his son.
Don't open the door.
So they've locked the door again. They've set the fire, and this was a kind of stupid moment I felt, because the twins, the sisters, are looking for a toilet, and they can hear Beth calling to them. So they go wandering up to the attic, but all the adults downstairs are talking about heading out into the town and have completely forgotten where their family are and what's happening in this situation. Because as soon as the twins scream and the adults run up the stairs, I'm just like, you're all fucked, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to see what's up there.
Now, a couple of people have pointed out that the family doesn't necessarily behave like a real person would. So I'm going to ask you, Iain, as a father.
Yeah.
If it was your son who had gone to his girlfriend's place
Yeah.
in the middle of this storm after these attacks that have occurred,
Yeah.
would you stay in the house or would you be damned and go out there and get him
Well,
back?
well, if it was the middle of a blizzard like that, he wouldn't have left the house, you know. And if he was so adamant about leaving the house, I would have gone with him, and we would have both been captured, and so it wouldn't have made any much of a difference. Every situation after, I mean, like the fireplace going out wouldn't have allowed that to happen. You know, as soon I would have turned to the Eastern European grandmother and been like, you know what the fuck that is. Tell me everything and its weaknesses, please. And on top of that, when we get to the attic sequence, wow.
Shit.
Come on.
That is one hell of a fucking creature. I'm sorry, but that is one hell of a creature.
That fucking slug thing was amazing.
It's a jack-in-the-box, but it's like the size of a worm. You know, it's a massive tremor in a way.
Yeah, I assume that thing must get bigger each time it eats things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I don't know if it actually kills them or if it just carries them, you know, takes them captive for Krampus.
What, and then regurgitates them later?
Yeah,
or
regurgitates
slowly
them later.
digests them.
But at the same time, is it the same creature that's out in the snow?
I don't know. I'm going to say I doubt it.
Yeah, because obviously we saw the auntie re-wrapping up the presents from Santa's box, and one of them was a Jack-in-the-Box. So I assumed that the Jack-in-the-Box in the attic wasn't the same as the fucking snow tremor. But on top of that, you've got the fucking crazy little cherub thing. You've got a fucking killer teddy bear that looked awesome.
They kind of reminded me of demonic toys.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah.
There was, killer teddy bear and a Jack-in-the-Box as well.
The robot was fucking awesome.
That was frightening.
Yeah.
With its knives as appendages just stabbing away. I was just like, yeah.
And the fact that, like we said, we were excited and we were having fun and everything's building up and it's getting all crazy. And then there's just a mass load of crazy ass events leading up to the end of the film. Like I said, the worm thing has eaten one of the twins and has managed to escape into the air vent. So Linda has gone on this crazy mum attack mode and misses.
Well, she manages to cut the Christmas lights that's strangling her sister.
Yeah.
Attack the robot that's attacking Tom, and then she makes all the way up to the gate, and then just swings and misses. Like after all that build up and excitement, are you going to rescue? And it's like missed. It's like
yeah, and they all rush back downstairs, but now this worm is stuck in the air vents. So they send the bulldog, in after it. This is after Howard has just had a fight with 3 gingerbread man cookies in the kitchen who are armed with a nail gun.
Now, again, any normal situation where you've got something that's this fucking big, it should not be dangerous. You should easily be able to overpower it. But when they're armed with a nail gun and they're cackling and laughing at you, like, I'm sure your brain would take like 20 minutes to comprehend what's actually happening anyway.
When he fires that shotgun, he blasts one and then he tries to shoot the other one, but it cartwheels out the way. I was like, that's fucking awesome. But the bulldog has saved his life and now they've sent her into the air vent after the worm. What I thought was awesome was the fact that you hear the yelps from the dog. And then it just crashes through the roof. And I'm thinking, this thing is fucking dead now. Aunt Dorothy has just killed the teddy bear. She's killed the bird. She's going to shoot this fucking slug. And we're going to have a... Wait, what the fuck has just smashed through the window?
Elves!
Oh, shit.
Fucking Christmas elves!
My God, the design of these masks, the creatures, they're frightening.
Yes.
And they force the family into a protective sort of corner.
Yeah.
They managed to take the baby.
What the fuck did the baby do? You know, they're after the whole family.
I love the fact that they tie up the auntie and she just says, "I'll see you in hell." She gets dragged out the window. It's just like, it's great.
Yeah. Great. Howard, he jumps on the maggot thing as it goes flying out the window. And you're just watching them all dwindle down. And the elves are called off. You hear what I can only describe as a reverse ho-ho-ho. You know?
It just sounded like a horn of some kind.
Yeah. And the elves leave, but the fire is lost, the house is undefendable, and they need to go. And the grandmother decides that she's going to stay back and hold Krampus off for a couple of minutes to give her family the chance to escape. And once again, that creature, its appearance, you know, coming down the chimney, emerging out of the fireplace. I did feel that Krampus's mouth never closed.
Well, he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a Santa Claus mask.
Right.
So you can only see Krampus's eyes. You don't really see the rest of him, which is amazing.
I thought that. I kept asking myself, is it a mask or you know, is it his actual face? I hope it's a mask because that would be awesome. And like we said, just seeing the eyes. But his appearance in front of the grandmother and just the fact that when we saw in the flashback, he'd winked at her. And so when he sees her and he opens up his sack, it's like he remembers, You know,
Yeah.
come on, you've been naughty. The family all start getting picked off one by the snow tremor. And Max and his cousin Stevie, they're the last two, but Stevie is captured by the Christmas elves. So Max is now completely and entirely alone. Krampus emerges in front of him and gives him a bell, just like he'd given Max's grandmother. And I thought that was it, even though I'd spoiled the ending many years before and knew what was happening. The film kind of ended there, with the fade out and Krampus gone. And so you're kind of thinking to yourself, yeah, just like the grandmother, he's the last one, there are no more survivors, and he's going to remember this. But he comes back to face Krampus, and Krampus makes a doorway to hell?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it would seem like it. I guess it's back to his own dimension. Or
That's
his
it.
own...
I mean, I don't know if Krampus, like, we know like Krampus is the Christmas devil, whatnot, but I don't really see him as Satan or demonic like that. Like I said, I see him as the dark side of Santa Claus. So
Well,
his portal goes back, like you said, to a Christmassy, demonic, hellish dimension.
But it's based on German and Austrian folklore
Yeah.
of Krampus, which is an entity which is supposed to come instead of Santa Claus
Yeah.
to punish naughty children and literally take them to hell. So I'm guessing, yeah, it's a portal to hell.
But he drops Stevie in, and Max faces Krampus and says, I take my wish back. You know, I want my family back. You can take me, you know, sacrifice and all that. And you're thinking, this is it. This is the point where Krampus is defeated, and no, he picks Max up.
That your tears are not going to save you and your family, boy.
That's it. And drops him in the fire.
Yeah, it's like, wow, love it. But then, immediately, I hate it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I knew you would.
Because I'm just like, it's all a dream. It was all a dream. Oh my God, you've just ruined a perfect movie by going, it was all a dream. Or is it?
Or is it? Because Max comes down the stairs. His whole family, it's the perfect Christmas. It's everything he's ever wanted. And then he sees the bell. And we get that awesome zoom out of the family home inside a snow globe.
And you hear the echoes of the events of the film that all the characters have experienced, and all of them have that realization that this is not the first Christmas they've had here.
Yeah.
And the camera reveals, as you said, a snow globe on a shelf next to hundreds and thousands of other snow globes. And that's where the film ends. And that ending has kind of spawned two theories. I had my guess as to what it meant straight away, and you had your guess.
Yeah, I saw it as kind of like a purgatory, Groundhog Day kind of hell. You know, they were all dead, but they weren't actually dead. You know, Krampus had trapped them all in the snow globe, and they would live over Christmas Day over and over again. And then I actually thought it would be cool as well if they forgot at the end of each night, so they could absolutely trash the house and smash it and burn it down, and they could murder each other and do whatever they wanted, but then they would wake up again Christmas morning and only have that realization when he pulls out that bell.
Yeah, but for me, it was the fact that the film takes course over like 3 days and 3 nights.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and also Christmas family movies that are PG-13 are not, there's no bad endings. You know, it's bad subject matter where families overcome, their own inner demons, essentially, like Scrooged, like The Christmas Carol, where it is a spooky, horrible ghost story.
Yes.
Where the characters transform into good people at the end. Whereas in this one, I'm like, there's no chance to become good people at the end. Even though the character tried to take his wish back and loved his family for all their flaws as well, makes me go, it's a happy ending. But Krampus has that snow globe like a spyglass, so that he can just check in on that family to see whether they're being nice to each other or not.
Yeah.
And if not, he's going to come back and take them for real next time.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
I got loads of favourite sequences in this film. The whole film is a favourite sequence. About 4 hours after the film finished, I was sat there going, I want to watch it again. Like I just fell in love with this film from its visuals, the fact that having seen the house in the snow globe, throughout the whole film it kind of feels like it's in a snow globe.
Yeah.
Just the beautiful vistas of the snowy landscapes, the house, the warm fireplace, the decorations around. It just makes it feel like Christmas and an isolated horror movie at the same time.
Yeah.
So the sequence when she leaves the house and goes outside and first sees Krampus, visually fantastic. Complete horror setting, loved it. Tom and Howard, the first time they're attacked by the tremor creature out in the snow when they're by the snow plow.
Nice.
Another great sequence. It's when your imagination's running rife with the possibilities of what is actually going on. The demonic toys, when they do attack, when they break out of their packaging and they attack the family in the attic. It was just like, anybody could die here. Anybody could be killed off.
Yeah.
And that creature swallowing kids whole, you're not going to forget it anytime soon.
No.
It's something freaky about the fact that it has the exterior of a toy, yet when its mouth and everything opens up and you can see that it's flesh and meat and gore, you know, and all those teeth, it's just like, that's truly, truly frightening. The opening store sequence, the Black Friday sale, I love that. And of course the flashback sequence with the grandmother, just absolutely beautiful, you know? It makes you want to shed a tear when the two are fighting over the Santa Claus toy and he just tears it in two. Just like, so sad.
My favourite scenes, I like Ari, I absolutely love the film. I love the opening dinner sequence when they're sat there and they're reading the letter. And like you said, the realisation that everyone's listening in, they're hearing all these wishes. But then it's over and the letter's all ripped up and you're just like, shit, it's all going to turn south now. The sleeping sequence, like I said, where the fire embers are going out and the gingerbread man comes down on the hook. The little boy is taken up. Like I said, absolutely perfect. Not a creature was stirring moment throughout the film. The flashback animation with the grandmother, absolutely beautiful looking. Just, the film was already tonally dark and that brought it down a couple more notches. So you didn't feel bad when it all really kicks off later on. You're actually sat there like, I knew it was bad. I should have just kept telling myself it was. The fucking clown slug thing. It's a giant fucking clown slug thing. The gingerbread men with the nail gun, their whole fight sequence in the kitchen. The cherubs, the bear, just any of those practical creature effects were absolutely brilliantly done. The grandmother meeting Krampus, his standing there in full detail was just absolutely awesome. And like I said, the ending, it's one of those rare Christmas movies where you could actually sit there and go, it doesn't happen, it doesn't finish on a happy ending. Like we said, either ending, they're being watched by Krampus or they're stuck in hell. Still, it didn't end well for them. Krampus got what he wanted. They got tortured and bullied and almost killed and shit.
Right. I have to recommend Krampus. I don't know whether this film would work outside of the Christmas holiday. It's not a sort of film you can watch in the summer.
You've got to watch it at Christmas time.
And so for that, I would say that this is near a perfect Christmas film. I put it up there at the moment next to Gremlins. Gremlins has always been my favourite Christmas film. This one is now its competition.
Yeah.
Because it's emulating it. It gives me the same feeling of Christmas and of enjoying a good film that has crazy ideas that are being pulled off by a team of people that absolutely love their job. This is such a creative, enjoyable film that I would easily recommend you watch it. Even if you've seen it before, you can watch it again. There's little bits of dialogue that you might pick up on, or there's references to things that you might not be aware of. Like there's the noodle incident, and it's like, well, what the hell is the noodle incident?
And the Cartwright stopped talking to us after Max's noodle incident.
After his what?
And it actually harkens back to an old comic strip, and it's never explained. And so it's just like, well, what does it mean? But
didn't the twins as well say that their brother who got taken painted their cats?
I think so. Crazy. I also want to bring up the music. Douglas Pipes, he described his music as a collection of twisted Christmas carols.
Nice.
He made different carol singers sing in different tongues. He also used sounds of chains and bells, broken bones, and animal skin to give a really unnerving, discordant kind of sound to it that made me think of Silent Hill. It's just like, he really messed with the sound to help deliver the horror, and that works. And of course, all the famous Christmas carols that you do hear in the film just add an eeriness to it. That, again, it's a perfect blend. I really can't recommend this film enough for Christmas, for the holiday period.
I definitely recommend this film as well. It's shot up there into my favourite top 3 Christmas movies. Just simply because it was new. It was refreshing. Like we said, we don't have successful Christmas horror movies. Christmas is never about death, destruction, mutilation, and all that kind of stuff. To find this little beacon in the blizzard and snow, I suppose, of Christmas, is fucking awesome. Because it harkens back as well, like I said, about the true meaning of Christmas, about the sacrifice. And all the way through this film, these people started off hating each other, and then by the end of it, they'd sacrificed everything to help each other to get to the end. And so, in a weird way, Krampus is like the jigsaw of Christmas. He's going to torture you, and it's going to hurt, and you're going to scream and cry, but it's for your own good, and you're going to be a better person at the end of it. And after, you'll remember the true spirit of Christmas. Yeah.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.